Husband visits his sick ex-wife and takes one little thing from her house, and now I find it hidden in. My husband's boots were caked with mud, but he swore he'd only been to the store. I found the hospital visitor's pass in his jacket pocket, crumpled like a guilty confession. The name on it, Eleanor, his ex-wife, the woman who'd haunted our marriage like a ghost who refused to leave. I'm Claire, 38, married to David for 6 years, and I thought I knew every corner of his heart. We'd built a life together, 2 kids, a dog, a cozy house with a perpetually leaky roof. But that pass, tucked away like a dirty secret, cracked open a fault line in my trust. Why had he visited Eleanor, who'd been battling cancer for months, without telling me? And why did he come home with that haunted look, like he'd seen something he couldn't unsee? I confronted him that night, the kitchen clock ticking louder than our voices. "It was nothing," David muttered, his eyes dodging mine. "She's dying. Claire, I had to see her." His voice broke, and I felt a pang of sympathy, but it was drowned by suspicion. He wasn't telling me everything. I let it go, or so I thought. But the seed of doubt had been planted, and it grew thorns. Days passed, and David's behavior shifted. He'd linger in the garage late at night, claiming he was fixing the lawnmower, but I'd hear no tools, just silence. I started noticing small things. His phone was always face down. His keys were missing 1 minute and back the next. Then one evening, while folding laundry in our bedroom, I found a tiny silver locket tucked inside the pocket of his old flannel shirt, hidden in the back of the closet. It wasn't mine. The intricate floral engraving screamed Eleanor. She'd always loved delicate, vintage things. My heart thudded as I opened it. Inside was a faded photo of a young David and Eleanor, smiling, their faces pressed close, and a lock of dark hair tied with a red ribbon. I felt like I'd been punched. Why had he taken this from her house? And why hide it here, in our home, where our kids sleep, where we'd promised to build a future free of her shadow? I clutched the locket, its cold metal burning my palm, and waited for David to come home. When he walked in, I held it up, my voice shaking. "What is this?" "David, why do you have her locket?" His face drained of color, and for a moment, he looked like a man caught stealing something sacred. "It's not what you think," he stammered, but his eyes betrayed him guilt, raw and undeniable. He sank into a chair, head in his hands, and the story spilled out. Eleanor had called him 3 weeks ago, her voice weak, begging him to visit. She didn't want to die alone, he said, tears welling. I couldn't say no. Claire, she was my first love. He'd gone to her small, cluttered house, where memories of their past life together hung like cobwebs. She'd been frail, a shadow of the vibrant woman he'd once known, but her eyes still held that old fire. During their talk, she'd pressed the locket into his hand. "Keep this," she'd whispered. "It's all I have left of us." David swore he'd only taken it to honor her dying wish, but he hid it because he knew I'd misunderstand. "I didn't want to hurt you," he said, his voice cracking. "I love you. Claire, this isn't about her, but it was about her. It was always about her." I didn't know what to believe. Part of me wanted to scream, to throw the locket at him and demand he choose me or her ghost. But another part saw the pain in his eyes, the weight of a past he couldn't erase. I thought of Eleanor, alone in her final days, clinging to a memory of love. Could I blame her for wanting that small comfort? Could I blame him for giving it to her? The next morning, I drove to Eleanor's house. I don't know why, maybe to confront her, maybe to understand. Her sister, Marie, answered the door, her eyes red from crying. Eleanor had passed the night before. I froze, the locket heavy in my pocket. Marie invited me in, and we sat in Eleanor's quiet living room, surrounded by photos and trinkets that told the story of a life cut short. She talked about David, Marie said softly, not with anger, but with gratitude. She said he gave her closure. I handed Marie the locket, my hands trembling. "This belongs here," I said. She took it, tears spilling, and told me Eleanor had kept it by her bedside, a reminder of a time when she felt whole. I drove home, my mind a storm of grief and clarity. David wasn't betraying me. He was carrying a burden I'd never fully understood. That night, I sat him down. No more secrets. I said, my voice steady but soft. We're in this together. David. All of it your past, our present, everything. He nodded, his hand finding mine, and for the first time in weeks, I saw relief in his eyes, not guilt. The locket was gone, but its weight lingered, a reminder that love, in all its forms, leaves marks. Sometimes they're scars, sometimes treasures, but they're always part of the story. I realized then that forgiving David wasn't about erasing Eleanor. It was about making room for all the pieces of him, even the ones that hurt. What would you do if you found a hidden piece of someone's past? Was David wrong to take the locket? Or was he just trying to honor a dying woman's wish? Share your thoughts. What's right? What's wrong? And where do you draw the line? And Andy,